This video is the long-awaited review of my two homemade bullet molds. The first one, the Model 400. Comment below if you think you know why it's named 400. And the Model 6000. All right, this first one. I did have some issues initially with this mold where I couldn't keep the mold hot enough, and you could see the tips when you would get it up to really hot temperature. As it cooled down, you'd see the tips of the bullets get really nice and shiny, while the remainder was frosty. And you'd see that as you continued to cast, no matter how fast you went, you'd see the shininess creep up the bullet and up the bullet and up the bullet toward the base. And then the next thing you'd see was the nose would start getting wrinkly. So you couldn't keep enough heat in the mold. So I took and I removed this. So it used to be square across the bottom. I removed all that material, which took care of that heat loss issue. I also had a problem with the locating pins would loosen up when the mold got really hot. And all I ended up doing there was I drove them out and replaced them with pins that were 1.5 to 2 thousandths oversized at room temperature. Because the aluminum expands more than steel, so they'd end up getting loose, and you had to get them tight enough so they wouldn't come loose when the mold was 500 degrees. And the way this thing works today, the only way to get decent bullets out of it, it takes a while to heat the cavities, but then you have to have your metal at 800 degrees or so, 810, before it starts making decent bullets. And even then, the reject rate's about 30%. So I made a bunch of them yesterday, and these are just a sampling of the ones that I rejected. A lot of them they got remelted, probably half again that much, and that's what I got that was good. I didn't count them, but I think it's about a third. And the two main problems I was having were, one of them, the tip, you see there, it's right at the parting line of the mold. It's like it was almost like that was getting too hot, and it wasn't solidifying quite right. Maybe I was opening the mold too soon. I don't know. I don't know if that's one cavity doing it, or I don't know. And the other problem was, and this was random from cavity to cavity, was base is not filling out properly. So anyway, if there's any bullet casting pros out there, let me know. But it does work. It's just, the quality's not quite what it could be. At least, I do get good bullets from it, but just not all of them. Anyway, that's kind of where that one's at. The Model 6000. Now, the big difference between these two is this is a 9mm, so it's short, fat bullets, and this is 312, like for an AK, long and thin. And these are 204 or 207 grain, I don't remember what, long and thin. And I think that's why you have to have the lead so hot to keep it from wrinkling. It's such a long way down through the mold. Whereas this one is pretty easy. This thing will make pretty gorgeous bullets at around 750. And the reject rate on this is maybe 1%. maybe 1.5. If I make 300 bullets, I might put 5 back in the pot. So I tried to transfer everything that I learned from the first one to this one. The only other part I really had trouble with were the screws for the sprue plate coming loose. And the reason is I'd had set screws in the end to lock them in place, but they were smaller than the set screws that I'd used on the first mold. And the reason for that is it's because that's what I had. So I couldn't get those things tight enough to where when the mold got hot, they wouldn't loosen up. So I never did go get any bigger ones because I just didn't give a shit. So I ended up I just went in the underside because I threaded the holes all the way through. And I put these big ass screws in the back to lock them. And that took care of it. It doesn't loosen up anymore. But anyway, this thing, bullets drop easy. It heats up quick. It doesn't get too hot. I mean, this mold here's a gem. Yeah, the handles are nothing to look at. That's just 3/16 hot rolled. You know, I suppose I could have bought Lee handles if all the 12-year-olds in the world hadn't bought them all up, thinking they were going to cast bullets, along with all the bullet molds. So, anyway, that's pretty much it. The handles. I don't know if I mentioned this before. The handles are they're not pinned on. They're not screwed on. I believe the term that you use is they are burned on. So this is a piece of an old broom handle. And I turned it down. And I drilled, I don't know, bigger than 1/4-inch hole. You can kind of see the remnants of the hole right there. Drilled it through, and I cut this steel kind of to a taper, and put it in the vise, got it hot with a torch, not red hot, and just started shoving it on there and let it burn its way on, and pretty much burn its way all the way on. And it made a lot of smoke, made me cough and shit. And then once it quit smoking, the last few, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch, I just gave it a rap on the end with a hammer, and they're on there tighter than a Catholic girl's panties. So, which, you know, we can debate that. But anyway, yeah, so they're just burned on. I think that's what it's called, is burned on. But anyway, then I took the torch and kind of singed it a little bit and wiped it down with, I don't know, some kind of acrylic shit. I don't know what it was. Anyway, that's them. And the only reason I did this is because I couldn't buy them. Because every little dickhead in the country went and bought up every goddamn bullet casting mold there was, thinking they were going to start casting bullets. So, yeah, that's why I made them. So, I don't know how many hours are in each one, but too goddamn many. So, anyway, there it is.